Namaste. This is the fourth in the series of chanting rules. It will be a slightly long video compared to the others, and hence I suggest that you watch it patiently. You can pause, take notes, or see it repeatedly for sections where you find the concept a little challenging. Let's remind ourselves of the simple mnemonic again. Please chant Devi hymns very harmoniously. We will now discuss the D and H for the chant in the mnemonic, which stands for Devi and hymns. The letter D for Devi denotes Dirgham or extended vowel, and the letter H stands for Hrasvam or short vowel, which are inherent in the Matra rule. These rules are related to the time factor in chanting. What are the Sanskrit vowels? They are A, I, U, E, I, O, Au, Ah. A is a short vowel, while A is a long vowel. I is a short vowel, while E is a long vowel. Please remember, I, I, O, Au, etc. are always long vowels. I, O, Au are always long vowels. Let's take some examples. For example, when we say P, the sound P is made up of P and the short vowel A. When we say S, the sound S is made up of S or S and the short vowel A. When we say Ri, it is made up of R and the short vowel I. When we say Ri, it is made up of R and the long vowel E. Does P and Pa take the same amount of time to chant them? Similarly, does Ri and Ri take the same amount of time to chant them? No? If no, how much time should we allocate to chanting Pa as opposed to P and Ri as opposed to Ri? To understand this, we need to understand Matra and the concepts of Dirgham and Hrasvam, and will briefly address Plutam too. Let's try to understand Matra. What is Matra? Matra refers to time taken to chant vowels, as we see above in the examples of P, Pa, Ri, Ri, etc. Matras are of three types: Hrasvam, Dirgham, and Plutam. In normal shloka chanting, Plutam occurs rarely, while in Vedic chanting, especially Samaveda, it occurs quite frequently. We'll now discuss Hrasvam. Hrasvam takes 1/6 of a second to utter the vowel occurring at the end of a letter, like the at the end of P or at the end of S. For example, when we say S, Si, Su, or K, Ki, Ku, etc., the sound is made up of the letter S, K, etc., and the short vowel I, U. For example, S is made up of S and the short vowel A. When we say Si, the sound Si is made up of S and the short vowel E. When we say Su, the sound Su is made up of S and the short vowel U. How much time should we spend on chanting a Hrasvam? The objective answer is 1/6 of a second. How do you measure 1/6 of a second? There's a simple way to understand this. 1/6 of a second is the amount of time taken to snap your finger. For example, to chant ka, ku, ki, the time taken should be the time taken to snap your finger. And you have seen that in the physical demo. Sa, ka, pa, ki, ku, ti, whatever. Now let's go on to understand dirgham. And what is a dirgham? A dirgham is a consonant plus an elongated vowel like a or e or u. Like ka plus a is ka, ka plus e is ki, ka plus u is ku. Now contrast ka with ka, ki with ki, and ku with ku. Notice the time difference. What is the time taken to chant a dirgham? Dirgham takes about 2.5 times that of hrasvam, or mathematically speaking, 1/6 seconds into 2.5 times. Now, how do you measure this? There's a simple way. We go back to the snap of the fingers. Since we really can't snap 2.5 times with our fingers, I always suggest 3 quick snaps of the fingers. For example, sa. When you say sa, si, su, ka, ki, ku. It's an effective way to measure the right time to chant a dirgham. You can now pause the video for a few seconds to experiment for yourself. The last matra is plutam. Plutam takes 3 or more times than that of a hrasvam, or 1/6 of a second into 3 times. Snaps of your fingers. Example, sa, ki, u. In regular chanting, hrasvam and dirgham are most common. And the most common error noted in chanting is not observing the time factor in chanting hrasvam and dirgham. Only if you understand the chandas concept will you be able to separate the syllables. And only when you separate the syllables will you be able to identify clearly whether the syllable is a hrasvam or dirgham. Those who don't observe the rule of matra, that is dirgham and hrasvam or plutam, fall into the trap of what I call rhythmical chanting, or treating each sentence equally in terms of time taken to chant them. Chanting a sentence is not a matter of convenience. One has to follow the rules. Let's now mathematically apply the above concept to the popular and well-known Ganesha sloka of Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum, which is set in the Anushtup Chandas, or 32 syllables, with 16 syllables in each line. Let's take the first sentence. Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Sashivarnam Chaturbhujam. Did you see that I extended the second syllable lam as it is a dirgham? In the first sentence, there is only one dirgham, that is lam. Rest of the 15 syllables are hrasvam. Let's see the second sentence. Prasannavadhanam dhyayet sarva vighnopashantaye. In the second sentence, there are 4 dirghams. Dhya, yet, no, shan, yet, and 12 hrasvams. Remember that E, I, O, Au are always dirghams. Now assuming one hrasvam syllable takes one finger snap time to chant, which means the Dirgham will take 3 quick snap of the fingers. Then mathematically, the first line will take 15 hrasvams into 1 snap, which is 15 snaps, and 1 Dirgham into 3 snaps, which is 3 snaps, which is a total of 15 plus 3 or 18 snaps. The second sentence will take 12 hrasvams into 1 snap, that is 12 snaps, and 4 Dirghams into 3 snaps each, or 12 snaps, that is 12 plus 12 or 24 finger snaps. This means the second line takes more time to chant as it has 4 more Dirghams and takes 24 units of time to chant than 18 units for the first sentence. This then means that obviously the 2 lines are not equal in terms of time consumption. What is the learning we get from this? The number of syllables can be same in each sentence of a rendition, like in Lalita Sahasranamam or Vishnu Sahasranamam or Devi Mahatmyam. But the time taken to chant each sentence is uniquely dependent upon the number of hrasvams and Dirghams in that sentence. Same number of syllables, but not same amount of time. Simply put, avoid the mistake of rhythmical equal space chanting. After taking apart the syllables in a sentence, understand whether those syllables are hrasvams or Dirghams and maintain the time discipline for chanting them. If you keep applying this rule diligently, after some time, intuitively, you will be able to break up the syllable and gravitate to emphasize syllable chanting rather than word chanting or sentence chanting. So when you chant a syllable, you'll also know whether it's a hrasvam or Dirgham and take the right amount of time to chant it. And you will not look at the word or the sentence as a whole. The most common error in chanting is either not observing the correct time for hrasvam or Dirgham, or even worse, exchanging the hrasvam for the Dirgham or vice versa to compensate for one's own lack of awareness or control on this important aspect. I would like to share some related aspects of this rule in practical application. Any shloka or Vedic rik that starts with a Dirgham is difficult to chant and is usually missed, and one should take sufficient care to ensure that this does not occur. For example, in the famous Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu, the Ya and they and we are elongated vowels. In most cases, Ya is chanted as a short vowel, like Ya Devi Sarva. That's wrong. Ya is chanted as a short vowel, and the same goes for they and we too. People usually chant Ya Devi Sarva. That's wrong. Ya Devi is correct. Now let's understand how one syllable joins with the next syllable. The joining of the syllables can be any of the 4 combinations as follows. A. Hrasvam join hrasvam. That is, short vowel joins short vowel. For example, in the Lalita Sahasranamam, when we say Chidagnikunda Sambhuta, you have Chi, Dag, Ni, Kun, all or Chi, Dag, Ni, Kun, Da. So short vowel to short vowel. The movement is from hrasvam to hrasvam. The second type is hrasvam joins Dirgham, short to long. For example, in the same line in Lalita Sahasranamam, Chidagnikunda Sambhuta, Sambhu, Sambhu. Sam is hrasvam, bhu is Dirgham. The third type is Dirgham joins Hrasvam, that is long to short. In the same line, Chidagnikunda Sambhuta Deva Karya Samudyata. Karya. Long is Karya is short, Hrasvam. Karya. The fourth type is Dirgham joins Dirgham. And using the same example, Chidagnikunda Sambhuta Bhuta Bhu Dirgham Ta Dirgham. Got it? After understanding the syllable breakup and the related Hrasvam or Dirgham, comes the discipline of diligently observing the time factor. One of the most disadvantages of splitting a sentence into two halves, as some do, as either because it is easier to chant or helps those who find it difficult to hold their breath for chanting an entire line. Sometimes the ending Hrasvam of the first half is chanted incorrectly as a Dirgham or vice versa. For example, as explained before, Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu becomes Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu when they break the first half from the second half. And that's a very common error. It's Bhuteshu, not Bhuteshu. My recommendation is to chant the entire sentence. That helps to control the Hrasvams or Dirghams better, or help to maintain iron discipline to be able to say Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu. Another subtlety to be observed is related to the ending Dirgham or Hrasvam. A sentence that ends with a Dirgham needs to be slightly overemphasized, while one that ends with a Hrasvam is also slightly extended instead of ending abruptly. Also note that there is a slight imperceptible pause after the ending Dirgham of a sentence before commencing the next sentence, unlike in the case of an ending Hrasvam. When a sentence ends with a Dirgham, usually it is slightly overextended, and then there is a pause before commencing chanting of the next line. That is not the case. That is not the case in case of a Hrasvam. Those who do not overextend the ending Dirgham usually end up chanting earlier or starting earlier than the others. And as I explained, those who do not understand this tend to run ahead of the others. Dear friends, if you understand the above concept, you will understand as to why I keep saying that speed is a byproduct of practice. Speed is a byproduct of practice. Speed alone is not enough, and only the ignorant get impressed by speed for the sake of speed. The knowledgeable ones will chant with speed, but along with observing all the rules. That comes from practice. You will also understand why some end up earlier or start earlier than others. This is because of not observing the time factor related to the rule of Matra. The rules of Samam, that is appropriate speed, and Sandhanam, that is avoidance of unnecessary delay, also apply here. And dear friends, that concludes my video number 4 on chanting rules. Happy chanting and PKP. Please keep practicing. You can visit us at www.grdiyers.weebly.com or GRD Iyers, www.grdiyers.weebly.com. Namaste.